Hi, everybody. I am Lauren Yost. I'm your instructor for the Introduction to Microbiology course for this spring 2025 semester. Please excuse my voice. I'm still getting over some bronchitis, but I wanted to walk you guys through the course, the Canvas course, really quickly to be sure that you guys, once you guys were ready to start with the course, you could orient yourself with it really easily and get started right away. So let's get started. So this is the homepage for the course. You'll see here we have our 5 most recent announcements. If you want to see announcements past that, you'll have to click on the announcements link over here on the left. And that's basically it. I'm going to communicate with you guys primarily through announcements, and you should be getting notifications about new announcements through your OK State email. If you do not check your OK State email, then please be sure that you are, because I'm going to communicate through that. I'm not going to contact you on your personal email, and things might get sent to your OK State email that might go to your junk mail. So be sure that you're checking on that and making sure that in the beginning, none of my announcements are going through to your junk mail either. Because if I am going to cancel class for weather, or if I'm going to tell you what you need to do for class, if we did have to cancel for weather, or if I'm sick, or if we have to move rooms because of construction, because there's a lot of construction going on in the science building right now, and things like that, those are all going to be posted in the announcements. So you're going to want to be sure that you are, keeping up with that. So that's all going to be there in in the announcements, any updates for the course announcements. So be sure that you are keeping up with that on a regular basis. All right, so that's the basics for keeping up with updates for the course. Now, for keeping up with what you need to do regularly for the course, you're going to find that information either in the assignments link over here on the left or on the to-do list over here on the right. And if you're looking over here on the right, then you would see that you have all these assignments that would be due. So I'm looking at it from the student view. So this student is a hybrid student. And so they would have a hybrid participation evidence that would be due on the 17th for these 3 chapters, and then quizzes for those 3 chapters as well. If you are in my traditional classes, you will get your participation credit by showing up to my classes and participating in Kahoot quizzes every morning. Those Kahoot quizzes will be done individually by my hybrid students and then posted the evidence of completing that for their participation evidence. So that's what that is for my hybrid students. It's the same thing. It's just they're required to do it on their own time as opposed to in lecture, which is what we will do for our traditional courses, just depending on what section you're enrolled in. So that is there. And you can click on the assignments link over here and just see all of your assignments that would be due for the class for the entire semester. You can organize it by date or by type. So if you just want to look at the quizzes, or you just want to look at your participation stuff, or whatever it is, you can go through and find those in order of their due date, as well as what type of assignment they are, depending on what your needs are. So that's there as well. If you click on the syllabus link, it will open up your syllabus. You are required to read your syllabus and be aware of the contents of the syllabus for your section. I have all of the sections here, so be sure that you select your correct section when you're opening these. And be aware of that those are multiple sections. And I have them all compiled into one course here on Canvas for me to make it easier for my grading and things like that. But anyway, so open the syllabus. You do need to read through this and be aware of all the requirements for my class. It is your responsibility as an adult and as an enrolled student in my class to be aware of those rules, regulations, requirements, everything like that. So that's all there. As well as my grading policy, I do grade based on percentage and not on points system. So do not look at it as like, oh my gosh, we have all these points. The points are completely arbitrary. It's all going to be divided down by the percentage at the end. If you are concerned at all at any point about what your grade could be or what you need to get on what in order to get such and such grade, please use the what if predictor tool on your Canvas grade book in order to determine that stuff. It's going to be the easiest way for you in order to determine what you need to do to get a certain grade in the class, and as well as my grading scale is on here. Please be aware that we do have policies that you will have to adhere to as part of this, and you will have to answer the syllabus quiz, which is part of the requirements for opening up the rest of the course, saying that you've read all this and had your questions answered and that you understand what's being asked of you. At the end of the syllabus, you'll have the schedule. I also have the schedule available for you separately for download on Canvas on the first up module, my orientation module for the course. It has everything listed by week as well as by day. This is your Bible as far as the schedule for the class is concerned. If I deviate from this, I will make announcements and post them in the announcement section on Canvas. That's where you're going to get your notification for any changes on this. Outside of that, if you notice on week 2, on Monday, 1/20, we have Martin Luther King Jr. Day. There's no class. On Tuesday, 1/21, for my Tuesday, Thursday class, you will also not have class on that Tuesday to keep you in line with everything. So that's what I'm saying. Check on your schedules. Be sure you're reading on what days you have class and what days you don't have class. That's all going to be here. And any changes made at all to this schedule or to the syllabus at all will be posted in the announcement page as we go through the course. So please keep up to date on my announcement postings. So having said that, that is the basic layout for the course. Next, you would go to the modules section. In the modules, we have, of course, I'm going to close these for now and get to those in a moment, but we have the first up module. You have to complete all of the items that are required in this module in order to open up the rest of your course. Here you will see, this is the video. You clearly already found this part of it. So you have to view this video. Opening it counts as viewing it. But please, take time to view these required videos, at least double time my talking or something in order to skim through it, just something in order to make sure that you're getting what the purpose is of these videos, right? They're there for a reason. I don't take too kindly to people repeatedly asking me questions that have already been answered in content they were required to view. So please, keep up on that sort of stuff. If I'm requiring it for a reason. Excuse me, like I said, I'm getting over an illness, so bear with me. Anyways, you'll find here your syllabus. When you guys open it, it will only show you your syllabus. That's what it should be showing you anyways. We'll have the syllabus quiz. You'll see I have a little green check mark over here on the right. That means that I completed the syllabus quiz, and it's one of the items that I have to complete. You'll have to view this video that you're viewing here. You'll have to complete your syllabus quiz, and it will ask questions about information in the syllabus. There's your schedule available for you for the course if you just want to see the schedule. And we have our lab information. We have our safety document, which of course you have to be familiar with. So that's here. You must open this in order to open the course. We also have the lab orientation and safety video that you must view. Opening it does count as viewing it, okay? But please be familiar with the layout of the lab, how to dispose of things correctly and everything. That will all be gone over in that video. So once you have opened those things, you'll get your check mark. And then the last thing that you need in order to get a check mark to open up the rest of the course will be the test your computer tablet with lockdown browser. So if you click on this and you don't have lockdown browser on your computer, the first thing it's going to do is prompt you to download lockdown browser. The reason I have this on here is that all of my lecture and lab quizzes now are going to be on laptop or tablet. You'll bring those to my course, to the actual in-person in class on our exam days, and we will take that via lockdown browser in person. I do not offer any of my exams on ProctorU. The only time that you'll be taking the exam in the testing center is if you are either making it up, which will require a verified reason for having to make it up, or you will be one of the people that has a special accommodations through your disability through the campus. And those are, you have to have those documented with the campus. You can't just come to me and say you have ADHD. The campus has to have that documented, and the campus will put your specific requirements and accommodations in place that I will then be required to follow. And part of that might be taking the tests in the testing center, in which case you will still be using the lockdown browser. You'll just be sitting in the testing center taking it. Having said that, that's all you need to complete for our first up. We also have a link for Zoom. We have a link for Zoom here. We also have a link for Zoom Spring 2025 Zoom link here. Those links, anytime I have a review for the course, anytime that I have weekly reviews, I also have exam reviews. The dogs decided now was the time for barking. We have weekly reviews. We have exam reviews. I might have, games that we'll play to review exams, whatever it is. If it's for the whole course, that is the link you will use, is the Spring 2025 Zoom link. It is also the link that you will use to join in on any of my lectures. You are required to attend lecture. There's points associated with attending and participating in lecture. This is the case for my my traditional courses who must be in class in person, as well as you have to submit something every single week for my online course in order to be considered, participating actively in the course. Now you have assignments that'll pop up that are due every week for that, so that should take care of it for you. But anytime that you're joining, even if you're in my hybrid class and you want to join in on a lecture one day, you are more than welcome to. And this is the link that you would use to do that. No matter what time, no matter what day, anything. If it is a course-based thing, review or lecture or anything like that, that's the link that you will use. It'll be the same every time. I'll often repost this link just to remind you guys of that as well. So that's all there. And if you want to learn more about me, there's a link about me down there as well. Then I have a module on note taking. This is a completely optional thing, but if you want to replace one of your quizzes with a full credit score, or if you just don't want to do one when you want to get credit for it, you can take your note taking comprehension quiz and replace your chapter quiz score with that. You can take this one as many times as you need to in order to get 10 out of 10 on it. So you have that option. On the chapter quizzes, it will be timed. They are multiple choice. You only have 10 questions on my chapter quizzes. But they are timed and you only have 15 minutes to complete it. Once you open it, you need to complete it within 15 minutes. It's open note. You can use whatever you need to, internet, whatever else you want to. It's not lockdown browser, but still you only get one try on it. So if you did not get 10 out of 10, hey, you can come do your note-taking thing. I have a video and 2 documents that are associated with proper note-taking skills. My bare minimum study plan is literally the bare minimum of what I would expect of my students to be doing to prep for my course, basically. So if you're looking at that and you're like, oh, well, I was only doing flashcards. If you can't tell, I don't think flashcards are sufficient for my course. And your grade will absolutely reflect that if you do think flashcards or just Quizlets are acceptable for this course. You can still pass. That's all I'm going to say. I expect you to actually understand and apply my material. Regurgitating terms is not going to get you a good grade in my class, bottom line. So I expect you to learn, and I will do everything in my power to help you learn, but you have to do your part too. And that means working, and studying is work. And I don't expect you just to study and regurgitate. Like I said, I expect you to learn and understand the material. My goal is that when you come into my class and you're learning my material at the degree of actually learning the material, you should be able to explain it back to me. So that's the degree of understanding that I'm expecting in my course. Anyways, from there, I have my entire modules broken down by week, and I have the dates of the week on here, as well as what will be covered in that week. So week 1 from January 13th to 17th, no matter what section you're in, lecture will be starting unit 1, as well as our introduction to the lab. We'll have a lab on the Wednesday or Thursday. That's just intro to lab, and I'll go over some note-taking stuff as well, because I am going to force that down your throat. We have our lecture assignments, as well as if you scroll down to our weekly lab assignments and whatever you need in order to complete those things. On our lecture assignments here, you will have our week study sheet. If you click on our study sheet for that, this is all of the content that we'll be covering just this week, and only for this week, for this content. So if we're going over chapters 1, 3, and 2 this week, so usually Monday or Tuesday will be chapter 1 and 3, and then Wednesday or Thursday will be chapter 2. So everything you need to know from those chapters are outlined on the study sheet. I say everything you need to know. All of my test questions will come directly from the content on this study sheet. So if you memorize this study sheet and just knew this study sheet word for word, like I said, you're not going to do well. You need to understand what I'm talking about on the study sheet. So you'll see here, 5 I's for chapter 3. This is our first day. So 5 I's, and trying to just highlight this one thing. 5 I's: inoculation, incubation, isolation, inspection, and identification. If you don't know what those terms mean in regard to what we're learning about, this is nothing to you, and you won't be able to answer the questions that are associated with it. So that's what I'm talking about with understanding this stuff. In my lecture, I'll go over what I mean by each of these. So you might want to take notes. Hey, I want to be sure I understand my 5 I's and what each of those I's are and what they stand for and what they represent as far as identifying microbes and that sort of stuff. That's the type of thing I'm talking about. So I will test you over the 5 I's. You'll need to know your 5 I's. And that's on there and letting you know that might be something I could test you about. So that's the idea with the study sheets. I won't test you outside of the study sheets, but I will expect you to understand everything that is on the study sheets. So that should help with narrowing things down and helping you guys organizing your studying. I would start with the study sheets and then make my notes off of those study sheets to help just explain out everything that's on the study sheets as you go through it. Anyways, so we have the study sheet, then we have our chapter 1 lecture content. We have lecture content for each chapter. Chapter 1 is just basically just a video. So I'm going to go ahead and click on chapter 2 to show you that one. Chapter 2, you can see here, there's a video, there's a disclaimer up here. These are recordings from past lectures. So because of that, it might cover more material than what you're expected to know this semester. So go based off of your study sheet is basically what this is going to tell you. But this is the lecture videos that you would view if you are my online hybrid course. I'll also be posting the current lectures, lecture recordings. I record all of my lectures and I will post them as they are available for you guys to view if you would prefer to watch current ones. So those will be made available to you as well. But these are from past semesters. And then it has information that kind of goes along with that talk if you want to read through this stuff as well. You're welcome to read through the textbook. I'm not going to test you over everything in the text. So if you're one of those people that is like, I read the text entirely and then I go through the lecture, you're wasting your time and you will be covering more material than you need to. I recommend you go based off of the study sheet and then literally watch the lectures to help you understand the study sheet. Then use the textbook to help elaborate anything you're not understanding from the lectures, and also use the textbook as a resource for helping you put together your unit project. Everybody will be assigned one unit project. Unit 1, I will cover our review topics myself and give you examples of what I'm expecting. And then starting in Unit 2, we will have students covering topics for those when we do the review. Each student will be assigned one topic. You will be given 5 to 8 minutes to give your review on that topic. You can do it in various formats. That'll make more sense when we get to it and I give my examples for you guys in class. Those will be made available to you when we get to that. So that's not till the end of Unit 1. But anyways, this will outline all of what you need to do for the week, for the lab, as well as for the lecture. And so back to what I was saying, each of these lecture content will have the video and a little mini explanation that goes along with it. We also have the slides. These are the literal slides that I'm using for this semester that have been edited for this semester. So these should be correlating pretty well with whatever you have for your study sheets as well. Then we have for our hybrid course, you won't see this if you're in my traditional class, but if you're in my hybrid, you'll have your participation evidence and your Kahoot link. This is available for everybody, but this is optional for my traditional classes. In my traditional classes, when you come into my class in the morning, every morning, we will have a Kahoot that reviews the previous chapter. So when you come in on our second day of class and we start on chapter 2, we will have either chapter 1 or chapter 3, maybe both, depending on what we're doing that day. We'll do one of those Kahoots in class that will count for your attendance and it will count for your participation in the class. These are participation based. They're not like credit based. So be aware of that. So if you are there and you're participating, you're going to get full credit for it. That's pretty much that. And those are worth a grade. Same thing for my hybrid people. Even if you don't get 100 points, 100% on this, you're still getting 100% for having completed it, and you submit your evidence for doing it here. And then we have a quiz. So basically every chapter we have a lecture, we have a Kahoot, and we have a quiz. For my traditional courses, the Kahoot comes for chapter 1 would come with my next class. And we'll do that in class. For my hybrid people, you can do it however you feel like doing it. You can use it as a review, or you can do it along with the lecture. I don't care as long as you get it done and you get your evidence submitted with the appropriate one. So that's it for the lecture stuff. And then you would have your lab stuff. First week of lab is just an intro, but if you get later on, you will see, let's see, like week 6, we have a pretty typical week. We have our lecture stuff. We have our chapter stuff for that week. And then we have our week lab stuff as well. So we'll have our lab assignment PDFs. This is the actual lab assignment, a PDF form for that. You do not need to print these out to come to class. I will have physical copies for you in the lab. You will not get to take them home or anything. That's what the digital thing is for. But I keep like a physical lab manual in the lab with dry erase sheets on them, and you can answer the questions on that. Take a picture, upload it into the in-lab upload assignment here. And then that is proof that you did the actual lab assignment in the class and you uploaded it there. And I will grade it based on accuracy and effort. So there's a rubric that is associated with this. If you were to click on this, you would click Start Assignment. And you would be able to upload a file on here and do that. And there is, like I said, a rubric that is associated with this that I will use to be grading on that, and that will show whenever I go to grade your assignment. So let's go back. Anyways, so that's pretty typical of what you would see for a lab week or something. And so I have all that stuff each week laid out for you. So you just have to go week by week and get that whole module done and then move on to the next week and so on and so forth. I even had them outlined by unit so that you can see coming when the unit exam is coming up. Okay, we have a review for unit 1 here on week 4. On week 5, we have and the exam for unit 4. On week 5, we'll start unit 2 and that sort of stuff. So you can see what's coming up and be prepared for it. If you did want to download the entire lab manual, that is available for you for each of the, like that, each lab exam. So we have our lab midterm here, let's see, midterm review. Okay, great. Go down here to weekly lab assignments. You can see here now we have the whole entire lab manual. So not just the individual assignments, but you'll be able to scroll through. This is the actual physical lab manual that you will have in lab. And they're laid out like this. We have exercise 1, the content. You will get tested over this content. Page 2 for this is excuse me. For this exercise, you will have your procedure that you will be doing in lab with your actual lab procedure. Then we have a study sheet. Yes, we have study sheets for lab too. These are out in a little more colorful format. My kind of notes that I would take on that particular assignment. And it has all the information that you would need to know for the exam for that particular part of the assignment as well. And then we have the questions, and this is the sheet that you would take the picture of and upload into your upload assignment. And we'll go over that when we get into the lab too. But anyways, so that's the idea. And then we have a quiz that is associated with each lab as well. Some of the labs might not have a in-lab upload or a post-lab quiz. If it's not on your weekly thing, if it's not popping up in your to-do assignments, then you don't have an assignment for it. It's okay. So sometimes you might come to me and be like, hey, Professor, yes, we didn't have a quiz for this lab, then you probably don't have a quiz for that lab. And you can put that on me if I forgot to put one on there and you just won't have it. So it should all be up on there. I've pretty much double checked this pretty well. So anyways, my point is all your assignments should be in these weekly things and you know what you need to do from week to week and what's expected of you from week to week. And you can just click on through each week's thing and make sure you're getting it all done for each week. So you can have it in bite-sized formats week by week that way. And you'll have everything you need to study for each exam in each review date. So if you're trying to, let's say you go through this and you say, okay, it says unit 1 review and exam. What do I need to review? It has all of my study aids and things like that. I have things like audio shorts where like you can come to this audio short thing. They're all MP3s. You can play a 10-minute or less literal audio clip of me just talking about that specific concept. You don't remember how pH works. I have a 9-minute and 13-second video on pH that you can click on this MP3 and just play through that. And it'll update you on that. And you don't have to listen to these if they're purely for your study purposes. Then we have, so we have audio shorts. We have our weekly reviews. That again, I'll have those on Friday, and I'll remind you for them every single week at 10 a.m. on Fridays, typically, unless I have some sort of event going on. And I'll remind you guys that we will have our review and review everything we've covered in that week, including all the most commonly missed topics for that content. And most missed on the exams is what I'm saying. And we'll do that. It's usually about an hour on Zoom. That's always online via Zoom virtually. And then we have, so those are just for study purposes. We have Bloom's challenge sheets, excuse me. Those are going to be based on like Bloom's learning hierarchy. So whether it is, like recall stuff like define these terms or, create a chart that explains these particular steps or things like that. So it's going to be more like activity or an application based. Again, not at all required, just for your study purposes if you want to challenge yourself more. And then we have extra credit assignment due for the hybrid. Again, this hybrid stuff, extra credit due before each exam, you're going to take at the end of each of my slides here. Let's open up chapter 18 because that's what I have open here. It takes a little while. At the end of each of my PowerPoint slide sets, I will have 5 questions. And in my class, in my actual traditional courses in person, I will be drawing people's names out of like a cup full popsicle sticks and calling on people and asking you questions that have to deal with the actual content that we went over. So if we scroll to the bottom of this one, we have what is an indirect immunological test looking for? So I might say, hey, Joey Mendoza, what is an indirect immunological test looking for? I don't mind if you use your notes as long as you can answer it within a timely manner, and that's up to me if I think you're taking too long on that. But if you're paying attention to the lecture and stuff like this, these are meant to be, if you get in the realm of what the answer is, you're probably going to get the credit for it. Every student in my traditional courses will get a pass. You get 2 passes each semester. So if you like, I don't know this one, sorry, Professor Yost, you use a pass. If you use 2 passes, but you never don't go beyond that and you're able to answer every other time that I call on you, then you're fine. You'll get your extra credit point for that. So it's a 1% added to your final grade overall for the whole course, just by answering when I call on you and just by getting it in the relative area of content. If you're trying, and I can tell you were paying attention and you're still just trying to answer it, you'll be fine. However, if you pass, if you get called on a 3rd time and you still didn't know, you wanted to pass a 3rd time, you forfeit all your extra credit. It's all or nothing. So that's how that's going to go for my traditional course. For my online course, you guys will have to find these questions at the end of your chapters. Again, they're just at the end of the chapter PowerPoints, and you'll have to compile all of the questions, such as describe how biochemical tests can be used to identify microbes, and put your answer for all of them. And yeah, you can get partial credit for them. And then I will grade those for you guys, and those will be your extra credit. So it's built in with my traditional course. I'll call on you by name. If you want it for extra credit for my hybrid course, you have to go through and answer these individually for yourself. And you'll have to answer all of them. And so that's pretty much how that's going to go for you guys. I also have extra credit for completing everything in my course. As long as you have everything with a non-zero grade, you automatically get 1% added on to your grade at the end of the course. So that's 2% you could get added onto your grade right there. We can have up to 3% in the science department. That's not my rule. That's the science department's rule. And that 1/3 of the 3% is your syllabus quiz. For just completing that, you get like a little bit of extra credit. And the rest of that 1% that's left over will be completing your course evals that get emailed out to you at the end of the semester. And I'll send you guys out reminders for those when those get sent to you. For doing them. I don't care how you rate the course, rate it as terrible as you want to, but if you do them, I'm going to give you that 1% extra credit. So you can get up to 3% in my class. But yeah, so that's how the course is laid out. That's our modules in the and we have, again, week by week, and I think that covers pretty much everything that's there. All of my exams are multiple choice. They're 50 questions except for my lecture final. My lecture final is 100 questions. Other than that, all of my exams, lab and everything, they're all just 50 questions, multiple choice. Just the final exam is a comprehensive, semi-comprehensive exam. You don't have to worry about that right now. We'll talk about that when we get to it. In the discussion section, this is where I'll be posting our weekly reviews when we have them. You'll be able to go through here and find whatever week we're on. I already have week 1 and 2 PowerPoint slides posted on here. And it says what we're going to be covering for those reviews. Again, 10 a.m. via Zoom, and it has the link for the Zoom in here as well. And reminds you that's typically going to be Friday at 10 a.m. unless I have an announcement about it otherwise. And then we have your grade book, your course materials. This is where you'll have to go. It doesn't link on mine because I'm not an official student, but it would link to your McGraw-Hill, which is where your textbook is. Once you've accessed McGraw-Hill through your course materials, you should be able to access it through your McGraw-Hill Connect link here. Access to the library and other resources for the course. And that's pretty much it. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to email me. Please be sure you get everything else done in your first up modules in order to open up the rest of the course and get started on your course materials. And like I said, I am Lauren Yost. I'm your instructor for the semester, and I can't wait to meet you all. Thanks.